Julia. I am a pottery student in Kyoto, and today I'm gonna be rating my recent pottery pieces that I've done. So let's get right into it. The first one, I'm gonna start off with this one. It is a mask that I made during class. The project was to make a mask out of clay, and the concept or like the look could be anything that we wanted as long as it was, you know, something that could be seen as a mask. So this is what I made. My inspiration was kind of like bones of like some kind of like mystical creature. The clay that I used was actually a red clay, but then what I did was I thinned out white clay and then painted over that, and then bisque fired it before going over with this like earthy brown green glaze. I actually used two glazes. One of them was one that I made myself, that turned out kind of the brownish parts, and then the green parts are just like a green glaze that we had in the classroom. So yeah, I just like how these kind of like are having a flowy movement to them. So I actually really like this one. I wish that the glaze I could have like painted it on the entire thing, but I think it kind of looks good either way. Yeah, I'm gonna rate this one an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, what do I do next? So these are a set of 4 cups that I made. I made them as a set so that they can be had with tea or matcha or something like that. And I actually, because of that, I made a chawan to go with it, like this. The problem with this one, with the chawan and also the cups, is that I didn't do a very good job at glazing them, so I don't think they can actually be used, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, I don't know, I like the I made this as like a pinch pot style instead of on the wheel, and I like the look that I got with it shape-wise, but unfortunately because of the glaze I can't use it. So this is gonna get a 2 out of 10 for me. I have another set that I made. These, this is the first time I've tried, I'm not sure what the technique is called, but you take a wire and then, okay, well, so you make the pot as a pinch pot style first, or I guess you could make it on the wheel if you wanted to, and then you take a wire and you kind of just like cut halfway and then remove the wire like that, and it'll create these like rough, natural, abstract-ish kind of forms like that. So yeah, I like the look that I got from it, but again, I'm kind of scared that I wouldn't be able to use it because of how uneven the glaze is inside. So I might use these as decorative pieces around my room. You might have noticed that the glaze on this is different colors, and that's because we fired these in an anagama kiln instead of a electric kiln. I'll insert some pictures of the kiln that we used, but yeah, that was just such a cool experience for us to like feed the fire ourselves and control the amount of heat and temperature that was being used to fire these pieces. And so with those 2 cups, I also made this kind of teapot in the same style, and I like it. I don't know, I think it's good for my first try. The water would come out of here. I wish I could have made a lid for it, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with kind of how it came out. It's like as if it were made out of just like, or like carved out of like a rock or something. I like that kind of look, so I'm satisfied. But again, because I'm scared of if I can use it or not, this is gonna get like a 3 for me. Okay, next one. These are also going to be ones that we fired in the anagama kiln, and personally I like these a lot because of the dark color that I got out of it. It's just so like rugged and earthy almost. It's a really small little thing. I'm not really sure what I could use it for, but I really like tiny little things like this. I guess it could be like a sake cup or something. And then to go with that, it's not a set, but the colors are very similar. This one, I guess you could use as like a jewelry holder or something. But the glaze on this, I think, came out really well. It like fades from like a grayish black into like a darker black over here, and then this textured gray-green, which I think is just so beautiful. And then I like that the clay also ended up being a darker color, so there isn't too much of a harsh contrast between the glaze and the clay. So I'm very satisfied with this one. It's gonna get a 8.5 also. Just because I think there's like because it had to be held up by clay while getting fired, it has this like powder on the edges that I don't really like, but the piece itself I think came out really well. Last one for the anagama fired ones is this. I wanted to make a little vase, also very earthy and pretty cool. And I like that I used a white glaze for this and it came out whitish gray, like an off-white, and I like it. And I don't really mind that the color inside of the like opening here is different from the glaze because it matches the bottom. So I like it. It almost looks like a piece of like the moon or something, if you can see the texture. Yeah, I think it's super cool. I have this little like crochet flower that my boyfriend bought me, and I think it kind of fits perfectly. So yeah, I might even put that in there later. I'm gonna give this another, I'm just gonna go with 7.5. I like it, but I think it could be a bit cooler, and I'm not sure if I like, well, I like this side here at the bottom, but I'm not a big fan of this side because it's like not really cohesive, I guess. Okay, moving on. These are my favorite of my recent pottery that I've made, I think. I wanted to try this technique where I mixed the clay with like a bunch of water and I put it in a piping bag and piped them into flowers before putting them on the little pots and bowls that I made. I'll start with this one. These are hibiscuses. The only downside is that I wish the glaze could have come out more smooth, but I think it also, like, just because it goes into the little cracks and crevices of the flowers, I think it came out really nice. The area around the flowers where it connects to the pot is also, I think I did it pretty well. It's not too like dirty or anything. I think this is something that I could probably sell, but if I wanted to. And I'm happy with how it turned out. The next one, similar to that, I did another hibiscus one, but with a different glaze. And I like how this glaze came out better. It's kind of like the dark version of the last one. Yeah, I think this one though, it's a bit harder, at least on camera, to see the difference between the, like where the hibiscus ends and the pot begins. But if you see it in person, it's just so pretty. The glaze is beautiful. I made this glaze myself, which is another thing that I've been doing in class, making glazes myself. But yeah, there's like, it ended up being a mostly matte glaze, but then there are like these dark spots that are black and like shiny, almost like, it reminds me of like those videos where people are cutting up obsidian and making weapons and stuff. But I just think that's so cool. And then there are some of those black, shiny black spots on the flowers as well. And yeah, the bottom, the foot, I think I also did not too bad. So I'm happy with that. Yeah. The last one that I'm going to show you where I did a piping technique is this one. I made a rounder form, and then I figured that kind of resembles the overall shape of like a little bundle of a hydrangea plant. So I piped some hydrangeas and leaves and put those on there. Yeah, and I did both sides. I wish I did like this one going up from here and then down, because then it would be the reverse of this one, because these are kind of going from the top down this way. My fingers look really weird just now, but yeah, like down up from here and then down here, whereas I kind of would have liked it if it could go crisscross this way. But anyway, oh, I forgot to rate these. This one, this red one, I think is gonna get a high 9.5 because I like the glaze. This one I'm gonna go lower, like 7. I think that's fair. And then this one, I think the glaze near the foot is not really well done because I was rushing when I did the glaze, but I'm gonna give this one also a 7. I think the glaze is more even in comparison, but it's also messy, so yeah. I'm gonna stay on the same glaze pattern. Let's go with this one. You can see this red glaze a lot clearer on this one. Let's see, yeah. It's just so cool. Like, I want to keep this for myself. I don't want to give it to anybody because it's a glaze that I made myself, and it really shows it so beautifully. I did a textured rim on this one, if you can see. Yeah, I just scored the rim. I just thought it would be an interesting stylistic choice, but I wish I could have hollowed out the foot a little bit here. It's just kind of flat. And then the glaze is also... I don't mind the glaze being uneven on this one. I don't know, it gives it kind of that handmade feel. And I do like the contrast between the clay itself and the glaze. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna give this also a 9, just because of how much I love the glaze. Yeah. Okay, next. This one, I believe, I will fact check it, but I think these two glazes might have been the same. This is my favorite foot that I've ever done, I think. It's like a layered foot where it's like kind of like stairs going up like that. Hopefully you can see. And then the glaze, I didn't really plan on using this for anything like eating wise, so I don't mind that the glaze is uneven. I kind of like it too. It just gives like that texture. I feel like if it was just one flat color, it would not be as interesting. And I'm glad that I didn't plan on using it for any food because there is a little crack in the middle and it goes through on the other side. So if there was any liquid in here, it would probably just go straight through. So this is definitely more of a decorative piece, but I'm happy with it nonetheless. I think the glaze, the way that I painted the glaze on this too is very clean. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8 just because of the crack inside. But I really like it. Okay, this is one that I'm gonna show you that I made in high school. And I think I did a really good job with it. This is like when I was first learning how to do pottery. And I think I wasn't, the reason why this looks really clean is because I wasn't really experimenting with interesting ways of painting the glaze on with a brush, like with this one. So the glaze is very smooth. And yeah, it's this one right here. Very shiny, very cute. And I think the interior is also very clean. It could be cleaner though. You can see like the kind of line in there. But the foot, I was obsessed with making unique feet on forms like this. So I think I did pretty good. And it complements the kind of roundness of the piece itself. So I'm very happy with it. Considering this was like when I was first starting to make pottery, I'm gonna give this a pretty high rating. Let's say 8.5. Cause yeah, I think also like the part between the foot and this part, there's like a little ridge that I made here. I think I did that pretty well. So that's gonna get a good rating from me. Okay, next. This one's more recent. Tiny little thingy. I guess if you had like an important like engagement ring or some kind of jewelry, you can put it on that. I think the glaze came out so beautifully. Just like a nice blue-green. I think this type of color is quite common. So as pretty as I think it came out, the bottom isn't so clean. I think because it's so small, it's hard to trim. So I'll go a little tiny bit lower on this, like 7.3 or something. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's just, it could be better, I guess. Okay, one that I use the same glaze for that one is this one right here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna just show you the foot. I think they took it away for bisque firing too early, so I didn't have a chance to trim the foot when it was leather hard. But yeah, and so yeah, I had to kind of, you can see by the way I did my signature on here, hopefully you can see, I had to like carve it into the bisque fired version of this piece, but I used the same glaze on the outside and then a pink purple glaze on the inside, and I think these colors go pretty well together. Yeah, this is probably another piece that would be used as something decorative or like for jewelry. So I think it's pretty cute. I'm gonna give it, I don't want to go so low to like a 6 because I like the way that the glaze like separates over here. I think it's pretty cool. We're gonna go 7.5. Okay. The next two are these two teacups. That I tried to do a new technique with these where I would like make the basic teacup form on the wheel and then use like really watered down clay to go over it and create this wavy pattern. Unfortunately, I think the glaze that I used was too rough or like powdery, so it doesn't really have the smooth finish that I wanted. It just looks kind of, I don't know, just like dirt. Which I mean, it is dirt, but like, I don't know, it's just not what I wanted originally. Although I don't think it's bad, and the glaze is even enough where I could use this to drink out of, so it's useful. And I think I will either use it or sell it or, you know, give it to somebody. But yeah, I ended up dropping this on the wheel, so it has this like slash across it too, which is kind of a bummer. Unfortunately, it just isn't what I wanted to make in the first place. So I'm gonna give this like a 5. It's just neutral, and I did drop it, so. Okay, this next one, I did the same technique, and I just tried to make a smaller version. Looks like that. Yeah, that's gonna get probably the same rating, like a 4, because for the same reasons that the last one was. Okay, we're gonna get into my last two for this video. I really like these. These are two similar bowls that I made. The feet are also, they're not the same, but they're quite similar. Yeah. I really like the round foot that I did on this one. It's like curved like that instead of blocky, which I really like. It looks like a donut. And it complements the rest of like the round piece here, so I really like it. The glaze are just basic glazes that I had at school, or that they had at school. But there is kind of like a separation, not with the glaze itself, but the colors. It's like a bright red, and then there's kind of like a maroonish, like a darker red on the outside, which I really like. So yeah, and then I don't remember if I did a white or just a clear glaze, but there's also glazed. It's also glazed on the outside. Yeah. And then this last one, I think it is just a clear glaze on the outside, and then a beautiful green blue. I believe this one is actually the same as this smaller one that I showed you before. But yeah, it's just so pretty, and if I wanted to use it for food, it's quite small, but I could if I wanted to, yeah. And yeah, this is all just one glaze. I didn't use multiple glazes for this. From green to like a light blue to like a darker blue. It's just so pretty, I feel like. This one, oh, you know what? It is a little bit warped on the edge here. It's kind of pressed this way, but I'm gonna give it a 9.5. And then this one, it's a bit thicker than I would have wanted. I wish I could have trimmed it to be a little bit thinner, especially on this corner here. So I'm gonna give it an 8. But it's very clean. I think it came out pretty well considering, I don't know, everything else. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll definitely do more of these as I make more things. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye!